Welcome to another video with the Divine Names Mystery Ministry. In this video we will be reading Article 15 of Question 14 in the Prima Pars of St. Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologica. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Here we go. Article 15 asks whether the knowledge of God is variable. Objection 1. It seems that the knowledge of God is variable, for knowledge is related to what is knowable. But whatever imports relation to the creature is applied to God from time, and varies according to the variations of creatures. Therefore, the knowledge of God is variable according to the variation of creatures. Reply to Objection 1. The words Lord, Creator, and the like import relations to creatures insofar as they are in themselves. But the knowledge of God imports relation to creatures insofar as they are in God, because everything is actually understood according as it is in the one who understands. Now created things are in God in an invariable manner, while they exist variably in themselves. We may also say that words such as Lord, Creator, and the like import the relations consequent upon the facts, which are understood as terminating in the creatures themselves, as they are in themselves. And thus these relations are attributed to God variously, according to the variation of creatures. But knowledge and love, and the like, import relations consequent upon the acts which are understood to be in God, and therefore these are predicated of God in an invariable manner. Objection 2. Further, whatever God can make, he can know, but God can make more than he does. God can make more than he does. Therefore, he can know more than he knows. Thus, his knowledge can vary according to increase and diminution. Thomas replies to Objection 2. God knows also what he can make and does not make. Hence, from the fact that he can make more than he makes, it does not follow that he can know more than he knows, unless this be referred to the knowledge of vision, according to which he is said to know those things which are in act in some period of time. But from the fact that he knows some things might be, or from the fact that he knows some things might be which are not, or that some things might not be which are, it does not follow that his knowledge is variable, but rather that he knows the variability of things. If, however, anything existed which God did not previously know, and afterwards knew, then his knowledge would be variable. But this could not be, for whatever is, or can be, in any period of time, is known by God in his eternity. Therefore, from the fact that a thing exists in some period of time, it follows that it is known by God from eternity. Therefore, it cannot be granted that God can know more than he knows, because such a proposition implies that first of all he did not know, and then afterwards knew. Objection 3. Further, God knew that Christ would be born, but he did not know now that Christ will be born, because Christ is not to be born in the future. Therefore, God does not know everything he once knew, and thus the knowledge of God is variable. Thomas's reply to Objection 3. The ancient nominalists said that it was the same thing to say Christ is born, and will be born, and was born, because the same thing is signified by these three, namely, the nativity of Christ. Therefore it follows, they said, that whatever God knew, he knows, because now he knows that Christ is born, which means the same thing as that Christ will be born. This opinion, however, is false, both because the diversity in the parts of a sentence causes a diversity of enunciations, and because it would follow that a proposition which is true once would be always true, which is contrary to what the philosopher lays down in his categories, chapter 3, when he says that this sentence, namely that Socrates sits, is true when he is sitting and false when he rises. Therefore, it must be conceded that this proposition is not true. The proposition that whatever God knew, he knows, if referred to enunciable propositions. But because of this, it does not follow that the knowledge of God is variable. For as it is without variation in the divine knowledge that God knows one and the same thing sometime to be, and sometime not to be, so it is without variation in the divine knowledge that God knows an enunciable proposition is sometime true and sometime false. The knowledge of God, however, would be variable if he knew enunciable things by way of enunciation, by composition and division, as occurs in our intellect. Hence, our knowledge varies, either as regards truth and falsity. For example, if when either as regards truth and falsity, for example, if when a thing suffers change, we retain the same opinion about it, or as regards diverse opinions, as if we first thought that anyone was sitting, and afterwards thought that he was not sitting, neither of which can be in God. On the contrary, it is said that in God there is no change nor shadow of alteration, as it says in James chapter 1, verse 17. I answer that, since the knowledge of God is his substance, as is clear from the foregoing, Article 4, just as his substance is altogether immutable, as shown above, so his knowledge likewise must be altogether invariable. So there we have it. In response to the question raised by Article 15, whether the knowledge of God is variable, Thomas responds that God's knowledge is not variable, although he does have his unchanging knowledge of variability and variation. Our knowledge as human beings is variable. So thanks for watching another video with the Divine Names Mystery Ministry. I'll see you in the next article, which I believe is the last article of question 14.